Patricia Atchison. I'm the author of McKenzie's Frosty Surprise. This story is truly Canadian. How else couldn't it be with a mallard duck named Mackenzie and with an environmental perspective? When Mackenzie, a mallard duck, decides to stay at the marsh rather than flying south with his family, he encounters a frosty situation. Will help arrive in time for Mackenzie to migrate? We'll find out. Mackenzie's Frosty Surprise. Mackenzie glided along the marsh. His wet feet slid into the water, and he floated towards Frederick, who sat on his favorite lily pad. Mother says our family is flying south today. I love this marsh. I don't want to go, Mackenzie complained. Winter is coming. You can't stay here. The marsh will freeze over, and you won't be able to feed. You have to go where it's warm and safe. Where will you go, Frederick? I'll be sleeping down there. Frederick pointed at the water. Mackenzie poked his head into the water. He looked at the mud at the bottom of the marsh. Then he popped back up. I sleep in the mud all winter, said Frederick. Ducklings, we have to go now, Mackenzie's mother called from the edge of the marsh. Mackenzie's 2 brothers and 6 sisters took flight, circling in the sky. Goodbye, Frederick. Mackenzie hopped up on the bank. See you next year, buddy, said Frederick. Then he jumped into the water. I don't want to go, Mackenzie pleaded to his mother. Please let me stay, just for one more day. You'll be all alone, she said. Please, Mackenzie begged. All right, but then you must fly south. Follow the stars and rivers. Stay close to the mountain ridges. You shall find me in the wetlands at a place called Sacramento Valley in California. The north wind will push you where you need to go. Mackenzie flapped his wings. Oh, thank you, he shouted as his mother flew up into the sky and joined the rest of his family. That night, Mackenzie tucked his head under his wing and stayed in the marsh. While he slept, the frost came creeping along the ground. It climbed the tall grass. It slid its icy fingers along the water. Then the frost snuggled up against Mackenzie, surrounding him with ice. In the morning, the sun stayed behind a large gray cloud. Big wet snowflakes fell on Mackenzie's back. He shivered and lifted his head. He wiggled his legs and tried to swim. Mackenzie could not move. The marsh was frozen all around him. Oh no, he cried. Help, help, he yelled. Mackenzie tried to move again, but the ice did not budge. He was trapped. Mackenzie was flapping his wings, struggling to free himself, when he heard a faraway voice. I'm coming, it called. Mackenzie's feathers ruffled. A warm breeze blew across him. The grass swayed back and forth. Who are you? asked Mackenzie. I am the Chinook wind. I blow down from the Rocky Mountains, bringing warmth in my tail. I will melt the ice and free you. Mackenzie looked at the frosty cattails that surrounded the marsh. At the tops of their pointed stems, tiny drops of water began falling to the ground. The wind circled and swirled. Crack! The ice began to melt. Mackenzie wiggled and was able to move a bit. Oh, it's working, he squawked. The Chinook wind blew across the marsh all morning. The warm air tickled Mackenzie's cold beak. He stretched out his wings. He shook his feet. I'm free. Thank you, Chinook, Mackenzie called to the wind. The Chinook wind replied with a big gust of air. Oh, that was close. Frederick, where are you? Mackenzie poked his head under the water. There was his friend snuggled deep in the mud at the bottom of the marsh. He was fast asleep. Mackenzie knew it was time for him to go. Winter had come. He flew out of the marsh and joined the Chinook wind. "Go and find your mother," it bellowed. Mackenzie glided on the Chinook wind's tail. When the north wind nudged him from behind, he changed direction, flying south. "Goodbye," he called to the Chinook wind. The whistle of the north wind told Mackenzie to follow the rivers and pass over the frozen marshes below. Remembering his mother's words, he kept close to the mountains. Flying high, he would soon be with his family again, feeding in the wetlands of the warm Sacramento Valley. Mackenzie's a male mallard duck. He's best known by his brilliant green head and yellow bill tipped with black. The female mallard is light mottled brown and her bill is orange with black splotches. They live and nest in wetland areas or near lakes, ponds, and rivers. The mallards breed across North America, and this duck is the most common duck species worldwide. One of the last birds to migrate south for the winter, mallard ducks go to marshes such as the Sacramento Valley wetlands of California. Mackenzie's friend is Frederick, who is known as a northern leopard frog, or a meadow or grass frogs. They are brilliant green with oval black spots. The leopard frog is found throughout much of North America, but in the western parts of its range it has disappeared or its numbers have declined significantly, likely due in part to the effects of pollution and habitat loss. Wetlands, where Mackenzie lives, are shallow water areas with characteristic soils and plants that include marshes, swamps, fens, and bogs. Wetlands cleanse the water of pollution, they recharge aquifers, they protect against droughts and floods, and they offer recreational opportunities. They're great places to study and enjoy. If you would like more information on Mackenzie's Frosty Surprise, visit www.woodlilypublishers.com. For each book sold, $1 will be donated to Ducks Unlimited Canada for wetland conservation. To learn more about ducks and how you can help, visit www.ducks.ca. The illustrations in this book are by Joanne Jagers, who is a Rocky Mountain House, Alberta watercolor artist. The book is published by Wood Lily Publishers. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed Mackenzie's Frosty Surprise.